anyways, I get in my fursuit thinking that nobody would recognize me. And everyone freaks out. They start like filming. They're like, "What the fuck? There's a fucking furry going around." They're like, "What the fuck is this?" They're like threatening violence or whatever. Somehow, some way, they find out that it's me, and it ruins my reputation for that entire workshop. Everyone knew, "Hey man, this guy's a furry and he's weird." Holy shit! Me and that guy have the same. Me and that guy look the same.
Similar. Yeah.
Wait.
Foxes, you know.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt.
You got him over there.
Is this real?
It's like Felix.
Hello.
Hi, Felix.
Two of them.
Dude, how have I never
Fox
met
on
you
Fox.
before?
I don't know. But
Are
I
you-
love people saying there's a Coda or Felix game.
Are you a Starcane art?
Yep,
Oh my god.
I'm the other one.
Wait, why are we both? Are we the same character?
No, we're different. See, you got the black ears, I got purple ears.
I just got so terrified for a second that I had somehow like stolen.
See, the thing is, I saw the rainbow foxes and I was like, I want to be like a purple fox too.
Yeah.
Like, can you just do one more that's purple?
Oh.
And they were like, yes, great. And I was like, oh, sorry, Coda. But they were like, you know, it's good to have
No.
like examples available.
No, I don't mind. I love purple
Thank you.
foxes. Oh my.
Yeah.
And by the way, I like your suit a lot.
Thank you.
You look really good. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, of course. I hope you're doing good.
So cuddly. Oh my goodness. Hi. Oh my goodness. Hi.
I know, it only took so long.
Arr.
Oh.
Felix. Huh.
Felix Dakota. Would you both look at me and just give me a head tilt? Excellent.
That's so cool. Yeah, I didn't expect to see another purple fox. You look really good. I have to get your telegram. I simply have to. If there are questions, we would have to agree on them, right?
Oh goodness, now you're putting
Or
me
maybe
on
we have the
spot.
opposite opinions.
Ooh.
Okay,
I don't
wait,
know.
what do you think about, is water wet?
Water is not technically wet. Also, Alan, watch out.
What?
You're in front of a...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, hi.
I didn't know you were recording. I apologize.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so water is...
Water is not technically wet. Things covered in water.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. Water is not wet.
Water's not wet.
You know how many people tried to tell me water's wet?
It's wrong.
I had to literally beat them up.
Wetness. Yeah. You know.
I had to club them with this microphone.
Boom. Things that water touches are wet.
Exactly.
It can also be wet with other things,
Yeah. Like I
like
am
apple juice or other non-water fluids.
alcohol.
Alcohol.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Grape juice, blackcurrant juice, plum juice,
Yeah.
all the purple stuff.
Lots of juice.
Juices.
What do you think?
I don't.
Okay, you don't need. We're on the same page there. I don't think either. I just do what I think. I just do whatever's happening up here.
Yeah.
Those two brain cells.
The looking for a synapse,
Yeah.
the single spark.
Okay. Do you think? What's up with furries? Like, what are they up to nowadays?
Ooh. I don't think they're up to any good. I think we should all take them into one place and then like let me oversee them just to make sure that like everyone is behaving the way I want them to. Especially like every single dragon together. But it's for their own good if I take control.
You want to take control?
Yeah.
What would you have us do?
Pet me mostly.
Oh, you want pets?
Yeah. We'll put everyone in a big line and then you have to pet me daily.
Oh, I feel like I'm under your control. Yeah. What's like? We need to have government subsidies for being a furry.
Right? I think the government should mandate and sign a persona to everyone if you do not make one yourself.
Yes.
We need some subsidies for the artists out there. We need to make sure everyone is the perfect animal they want to be. Embrace creature.
I agree. I think the more effort you put into your furriness, the more subsidies you should receive. Okay. Is there anything you want to say to my audience of absolute degenerates?
I hope you're all doing great. I'm gonna give you a heart paw.
You're gonna give them a hug?
Heart paw.
Oh, a hug paw.
But yes, I will give them a hug all for you. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
So the question is water wet?
The question is water wet?
Are we talking about like water on its own or like water on people?
Water on its own, if water is on its own, is it wet?
Well, when a fish comes out of water, is the fish wet?
Oh yeah.
Then we could hypothetically believe that the water is wet if the fish comes from the water.
No. I would argue that wetness presumes that two separate objects, one of those objects being water, must be in contact, meaning something separate and different from water must be inundated with water in order to produce the condition that is wetness.
Well, if we're going into that, like scientifically, you're not necessarily wrong. So do you feel the inside of your fursuit paws, whether it's lined or not?
Yes.
Yes, so actually you're not touching that.
Okay.
The atoms like that are in you, what creates matter, they never actually touch.
Yes.
Because if you touched that and you actually got, it would explode. It would fucking explode or something. Like it would defy the laws of physics.
This is true. This is true.
If we're going by that standards, you are not wrong, but it's then harder to explain why water gets things wet.
Well, you could say, even if you were to take that into account, the fact that most atoms do not actually touch each other, they're simply around each other through bonds of some sort, you could still argue that a thing becomes wet once those molecules are at least within a bonding distance from one another.
You are correct. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. They're still within enough area of each other to... Okay, I believe you on that. I don't think water's wet. I don't think water's wet.
Okay, so
I believe you.
Have I changed your mind?
You have changed my mind.
That's
water is
excellent.
not. Well, I didn't know coming into this. I thought water might have been wet, but I now do not believe water's wet.
If you believe in something, I want you to fight vehemently for it.
Well, no, I didn't know. I needed to know the opinion. I was trying to talk it out with the knowledge that I knew.
Well, I'm glad you're willing
and I'm
to
like,
change.
is water really wet? So with your assumption, no, I don't think water's wet.
Most people come up and they're like, no. Listen, you're not listening. They argue their point very vehemently.
Nah, I gotta have like if it was more like if is a hot dog a sandwich, I would argue to the death about that.
Oh, see, that's a very different question. That's a harder one. What do you think?
I think hot dog is a sandwich.
I think I would agree.
Yeah, it's an open-facing sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the thing where it's like there's three kinds of foods: sandwiches, salads, and soups?
Yes, literally. Like candy salad exists. We know that exists.
Yeah.
Why does cereal soup not exist then?
Exactly. It's in a liquid.
It's in a liquid. There's stuff in it.
It has parts.
Right?
Yeah.
And soup can be cold, by the way. Soup can come cold. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm totally rambling about something else now.
That's what we want. I want to know your thoughts.
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts.
What wonderful day, because I need people's thoughts. Hi.
Hi.
You remember me, right?
Oh, of course I
Of course I remember you. Oh, you're still. You're still so comfy. Oh, really? I do gotta ask you.
Okay.
Is water wet?
That's a trick. That's a multifaceted question. Technically, if the surface of something is wet and water has come in contact with it, but I mean, water can come in contact with itself. Certain liquids can be stacked on top of each other based on their density.
Okay.
But water itself, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You gotta pick.
Some things that are liquidy can't actually make things wet, which is strange.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
water is the only thing that can make things wet, right?
Water, yeah. So, I mean, that's also debatable.
Okay. So water can't make itself wet, can it? Can it?
That's a hard one. That's like asking me what 2 + 2 is. I don't know the answer.
No, you don't. Well, that is hard. I failed. Don't worry, I failed math. There's a reason I'm here right now. So
I'm gonna do a 50-50 roll and say no.
No, it's not wet.
Water's not
You would
wet.
be in agreement with me. So last person came up, they said water was wet because, you know, water makes other things wet. Why can't it make itself wet?
Yeah.
But what I would argue, all these people, I would argue that water, something being wet requires, one, a body of water, and two, a separate object that is not water coming into contact with each other. And that is what creates the condition of wetness. The condition of wetness has never been used to describe a body of water being pulled upon itself. So that's my argument. So I think we agree there.
So, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if something gets wet, it's usually a solid.
Yeah.
And usually water itself, when it collides with itself, it's still water.
Yeah.
It can't become wet because it has to be like a surface of something.
Right.
Yeah. That's very intriguing.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a plane.
I think the plane votes yes.
The plane votes yes?
Everyone on that plane says yes.
Well, I'll argue with them later. I'll get them all. Don't you worry about
Okay.
that. What's like the cringiest thing you've done as a furry?
The cringiest thing I've done as a furry?
Yeah.
Dude, you're putting me on the spot.
Can I give you an example of something I did? Maybe it'll give you like a
jog my
memory
memory?
refresher.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so one thing that I did that was pretty cringeworthy as a furry. Geez, they're doing construction or something. Okay, so what I did in my place of work, there was a time when I basically lived where I worked. It was just a weird kind of job. And I happened to have my fursuit in the room that was provided to me.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of workers all in a bunch of rooms around each other. So one day I'm just like, you know what? I just want to see if I can get away with dressing up as a furry and like freaking people out because they're not used to seeing that.
Yeah.
This was years ago. Anyways, I get in my fursuit and I walk around in fursuit and thinking that nobody would recognize me. And everyone freaks out. They start like filming. They're like, "What the fuck? There's a fucking furry going around." They're like, "What the fuck is this?" They're like threatening violence or whatever. But then I get back to my room and somehow, some way.
What? I need to take a picture.
Okay. Somehow, some way, they find out that it's me, and it ruins my reputation for that entire workshop. Everyone knew, hey man, this guy's a furry and he's weird.
Oh, is this an interview? Am I interrupting an interview?
A little bit.
kind of.
Okay.
My apologies. I'll leave you guys be.
You're okay. Well,
Hello there.
is there anything you want to say?
About what?
Is water wet?
Water is 100% wet. As a dog, I jump in water a lot, so.
You're gonna piss me off, mister. Listen,
I know water. You know, as a bird as well, I take a lot of bird baths.
Okay.
So.
You're a bird and a dog?
I'm a bird and a
Well,
dog.
tell me
I
how
like
that.
birds.
What kind of sense does that make?
Dude, I
don't know. You know, father, mother, bird, dog. I don't know.
Me too.
Happens.
The bird, it's not the birds and the dogs, is it? It's the birds and the.
It's the birds and the bees, but this time it was the birds and the dogs.
Okay.
So I invented water. Come on.
You invented
What do you
water?
mean? What do you mean water's wet?
Water is 100%.
I was there when water was wet.
See, I think you got your calculations wrong.
I've been through history.
You've been
Okay,
through
I guess
through it all.
everybody's looking at the
But
camera
think
now.
about it,
Everyone's looking at it like some
Attaching
kind of
itself
alien
together,
object.
All right.
Yeah.
So water has to be wet.
I don't think that's true. I just don't think that's true.
I'm paying my respect.
Everything would have to be water for that to be true.
We are 90% water.
We are 90% water.
Oh
But
no,
That
70%.
doesn't make us wet.
Yeah, it doesn't make.
Come on,
That
come
doesn't
on.
make water
real.
wet.
That
Get-
means we're
means
wet as
we're
well. We
wet.
are
Get real.
internally wet as well.
Dude, imagine being wet.
No, oh come on. We're not wet.
Okay, imagine being wet.
I'm wet right now, but it's not because of the water.
All right, I'll leave you guys be. Thank you, if anyone.
Okay.
I have no
Is
idea.
there anything you want to say to the audience before you go?
TikTok died for like 14 hours and then came back. It's probably gonna die again because I don't know. There was some weird thing I was reading.
You people don't deserve TikTok anyway. I'm glad that it's gone.
It'll be back. I think it'll be back.
I hope it never comes back ever.
I don't think you can. That's something you can hope for.
I'm hoping for it. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
People looking at me so weird. They're like, oh. people, you guys can't see this, but people will stand behind the camera, and then I don't know, they're making like weird faces at me. I'm like, what are you doing? But then they just walk away. They don't say anything.
Is water wet? No, it is just sensation that we get from its bipolar nature hitting our skin receptors.
Good sir, you came in here hot and heavy.
Yeah,
you already knew
exactly.
what your opinion was. Thank you for being decisive.
Yep.
We're in I think we're off to a good start already.
Yeah.
What is listen, a lot of people think that furries are cringy. Myself being one of them. I'm always like, oh God, you know. I definitely don't tell people that I work with, you know, that I'm a furry, you know. Just to save myself the explanations and like this, the reputation, I guess. What do you think about that? Do you think that furries, like, do you think down the line it'll become more acceptable, or do you think it'll always be something that's a little bit cringeworthy?
So the cringe has a number of aspects, in my opinion, on that. And that there's, for one, yes, there's a number of socially inept furries that kind of do things irregardless of social cues and other things that are definitely cringe. But at the same time, it's a bit of a reaction from the general public to furries being more self-expressive, more creative than the average person. And thus it's a little bit of almost kind of, what term be, not quite lust, but wanting to also be a little bit more creative in themselves, but at the same time going, no, we can't do that. We can't have that in society, and thus that is played into the cringe itself as well. So really, it all depends on how society is going. Will we go to a more creative and expressive society, and thus furry will become even more mainstream in that? Or will we go in an unfortunate direction that we've seen before in history, where it becomes more repressive, more hidden, more, we're not going to go and talk about such things. So we'll see.
It wasn't too long ago that, like, it wasn't acceptable to be gay.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
even like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it wasn't acceptable.
Even though you go and look in history on people who are gay, and there were always these terms and these references that people had put throughout history in various writings and other documents of just kind of like, oh, they were eccentric individuals, or oh, they did certain things. So there's always been a number of these factors in our social humanity, but they either are more expressed or more repressed, and we're in an expressive period, and hopefully we'll continue that way.
I hope so too. I don't need, you know, people to accept it. I would just hope that there weren't so many social consequences to, like, you know, admitting to people that you're a furry. I think the biggest reason that it's cringeworthy is it's just outside the norm. It's outside the norm in a major way. People just don't. It's not normal to seek physical affection from others so openly. It's not normal to dress up in a fox costume, you know, on a Sunday. So I get it, but I agree with you, man. I hope it doesn't become more repressive over the time. I hope we can just maintain. All right, we're all letting each other mostly do what we want, so long as we're not hurting anybody. Hopefully, we can keep it this way.
Yeah, and that is true acceptance, because you don't need to love what somebody else is doing. You don't even have to fully approve of what they're doing, and that some of the things some people do, I don't know about that. But at the same time, is it harming anyone or anything? Is the decent question there. And if it's not harming anyone or anything, what's the problem? That's the actual acceptance there.
There shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm kind of part of the problem when it comes to certain online groups being, you know, like you make fun of people if you find out, I don't know. Like if I had a friend who was a brony, I would mess with him for it. I'd be like, oh, you little brony.
Oh, well, you know,
I would get on his butt.
Necessarily not giving them a bit of quips now and then, and a bit of just harmless joking of just kind of like, oh, well, that. Well,